All right, everybody. Welcome back to episode 16 of the Fairweather Fans podcast. I'm your host, Dan Fairweather, here with my co-host, Tyler Puska. Pleasure to be back in the Doing the Most studios, and it's just another wonderful day, Ty. How you doing?
Oh, my Lord, it looks great out.
Yeah,
Sonk. Yeah,
rainiest August, third rainiest August in Boston history.
Yeah, just shitty.
Well,
just especially after what we did like last month too with all the rain.
Yeah,
like it was awful. But yeah,
we're Fairweather fans. That's just the gist of it. But yeah, you played a little golf today.
Yeah, we had an 8:06 tee time, snuck in 18 holes of golf before the podcast.
Before I even fucking woke up.
Yeah, it was tough getting up, but once we got out there, we had a little bit of a mishap on hole 1. I actually wanted to test out my father's driver, and in the top of my backswing, I actually felt the driver snap in my hand, and it was just not great. But then, I use my buddy's driver, and we get to hole 3. Things aren't going good. I end up picking my ball up after 1. Hole 2 is kind of subpar. Get back into a little bit.
You gonna walk us through 18 here?
No, I'm just getting to the good part here. We get to hole 3. Imagine I just explained every single.
Well, hole 6 was more of the same, but that was something.
Yeah. We get to hole 3. Had an okay driver shot, kind of chunk of hybrid, and I end up in the thick rough on the right side of the fairway, and it's kind of a little bit of a dogleg right, but nothing crazy. And then there's 2 trees in front of me, right in front of my line. There's 2 trees. Everything else is wide open, and there's a little V that's forms, and I got to hit this ball through this V towards the flagstick, and I let a 7-iron.
Big moments.
I let it go.
You let it go.
And I stick this ball to a foot with a tap-in birdie putt. My first birdie ever. I don't know how I've never made a birdie because I've had good shots before, and it's just like everyone was kind of shocked. They were like, "Wait, you've never made a birdie?" I'm like, "No, I'm the unluckiest golfer of all time."
I was like, "No way, you made a birdie."
Yeah, we played some pretty subpar golf today. Had some good shots, had some bad shots, but that's how the game goes. Yeah. Game of golf goes.
Hopefully the podcast, Hopefully the podcast goes a little bit better than the round of 18. But
Bingo.
That's life.
Yep.
So with that said, we'll kind of get into that. But right before you get into the actual sports, we have an announcement to make. This will be our last in-studio podcast for probably a couple weeks. I'm heading to school in a couple of days, and we'll do the rest of the episodes over Zoom, and then there will be a couple weekends or a couple weeks where I come back and we do an in-studio podcast, and we'll get back to normal. It'll usually be probably 1 in every 4 episodes we'll be in studio again. But yeah, this will be the last one in the Doing the Most studios, sadly for the foreseeable future, unless I make the trip home or whatever. But we're just gonna make the most out of it. We've loved doing these episodes in the studio. They've been highlight of the summer, absolutely. But sometime they had to come to an end, and we made it 16 episodes.
Yeah,
in this lovely studio.
Jesus Christ, it's been like a treat coming to Boston every
week
to talk about sports. And
a lot of people would see it as a hassle, but I don't
know.
No,
I love it, man. Yeah. I love it, and it's gonna suck, but we're gonna power through. We're gonna be doing our podcast from our home studios. You'll be doing it in the dorm, right?
No, I have a house.
Oh, you have a crib.
I got a crib.
That's right. You're a fraternity brother, right?
No, not fraternity house, just a house.
Oh, it's just a crib?
Yeah, just in Narragansett. I'm not built for the fraternity house lifestyle. But if you look back, episode 1, we were out in the living room with the most echo anyone's ever heard in their whole entire life, with the windows open, all the city noise coming in, and then we got graced with this awesome studio. So, we're forever thankful. We thank Shannon and Daniel from Doing the Most for providing this to us. I know we haven't really told them that much, but we would just like to give them a nice warm round of applause for making this all possible, because without them, it wouldn't have happened. So awesome 15 episodes in here. Didn't take a single one for granted. We were in here sometimes for 2 hours, sometimes for an hour and 15 minutes, but every single minute we enjoyed it.
Sometimes here till 9:30 at night just
lost
to get
a lot
it done.
of footage, lost a lot of audio, but we powered through it, and we can say we almost made it a baker's. We made it more than a baker's dozen into the series so far, and to many, many more. And next summer we'll be back in the studio, and in November we'll be back in the studio for a good 2 months worth of episodes. So that'll be good. So we'll probably have the majority of these episodes still be in the studio, but for the next couple months we will be on Zoom, which we have the audio quality is going to be up to par to the standard that we've held it, and the video is going to hopefully going to be up to par that we've had it, and we're just going to keep pumping out that content no matter where we are. So
everyone gets to see the man cave now.
Yeah,
everyone
exactly.
Gets to see my
the Bat
room.
Cave.
Yeah.
The notorious Bat Cave. But with that said, we can move on to the actual sports. And we'll start off with the National Hockey League. Had some splashes today early in the day. The Islanders announced a signing of 4 players this morning: Anthony Beauvillier, Casey Cizikas, Kyle Palmieri, and Ilya Sorokin. I mean, everyone kind of knew that these deals were kind of in the works just because they hadn't announced anything. Because they were in cap hell, losing cap hell. All that was just everything. Everyone knew that was the issue. And everyone wanted to know if there's some people that weren't very aware of that, so they thought that, one, they might not have signed these guys, and two, they didn't sign anyone else in general on the squad. And yeah, they didn't really announce any new signings, but they re-signed these 4 guys, which they really needed to. I know they got Kyle Palmieri at the trade deadline. He's been invaluable. Ilya Sorokin hopped in that for a little bit, didn't really do a great job. Had a real rebound problem. But then Beauvillier was a big time player. Yeah, exactly who they needed to be. And then Casey Cizikas was a 4th liner that was very valuable to them and had that big goal against the Bruins in Game 2. But we can talk about how valuable they were, but the contracts they got were a little interesting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you talk about Anthony Beauvillier, 3 years, $4.15 million. That's a great deal
for him. Yes, that is just. The season he had was unbelievable. First of all, I want to add that it feels great to be talking about the NHL first. That's the first segment. It's been a couple weeks where it's been like MLB and
felt out of our element.
NFL
there.
And just like it's got out of the old groove, but hopefully we're getting back into it now.
For sure. Yeah, it seems like we're starting to ease back into it. But yeah, Beauvillier he's a top 6 left winger forward in general, and you could just see that he was the big. You threw me off my game. Fuck. You could see that he was a big game player during these playoffs against teams like the Bruins and like Tampa Bay when, they really needed guys to step up and their offense was lacking, especially against the defense that Tampa Bay had. Beauvillier delivered in those overtime games and stuff like that and really just gave them the push that they needed to. So if you can get a guy like that who you slot him into these big games, the biggest games you've ever played as a franchise, and he's scoring the big goals, you get him for $4 million a year. That's unbelievable.
How many years? 3, 4?
3.
3 years.
So maybe it might just be a bridge
nice
deal.
Yeah, that's definition of bridge deal right there.
And even if he doesn't, evolve as a player, like if this is his ceiling, you still get a player like that for $4 million in today's cap. That's phenomenal.
With the cap going up, I know you like to mention that a lot. So
yes.
The cap going up, that's going to look like a great deal.
Yeah, I mean, one deal I did not like though. You mix in the good with the bad, the pretty and the ugly, and we definitely have an ugly one here if you ask me. Casey Cizikas, 6 years, $2.5 million.
Yeah, that's just literally almost the same as like a Barclay Goodrow contract.
Exactly.
Remember when we were talking about, maybe like a month or 2 ago on the podcast about him asking for like $5 million?
Yeah,
we were like,
that is absurd. Because I'm pretty sure he has like 1 playoff goal in like 24 games played.
And it just so happened to be a fucking
in the overtime game against the Bruins
winner.
Which, I mean, $2.5 million isn't going to break the bank necessarily. I like the money. I think it's fine for a good.
The AAV's great.
Yeah, if you can get 4th liners who can score, and he plays well with Martin and guys like.
He's just a valuable asset for a team like that. You always want to have 4 strong lines, and he anchors their 4th line, and also he's a hell of a penalty killer too. But at 6 years for a 4th liner. Like, he's not young either.
No, he's actually almost 31 years old.
So they're going to be paying him till he's 37 years old. Casey Cizikas ain't making it to 37. I'll tell you that right now.
Right. Which, I mean, I'll let this clip speak for itself necessarily, but he said in an interview after he signed the deal.
The organization has changed, guys, wanting to stay, guys wanting to come back and play. It just shows, like I said before, how close of a group we are and how much we mean to each other. I think that's the biggest thing, especially for me, going through this period was, I didn't want to play with anybody but these guys. These guys are my family. And I've created a lot of friendships and friendships that will last a lifetime. So, like I said before, I'm gonna die an Islander. That's the way to put it.
So, I mean, that really speaks for itself. He didn't really want to go anywhere else. So usually when a guy says something like that, he takes a little bit of a team-friendly deal as a 4th liner, but $2.5 million for 6 years at the age of 31 years old is a little extreme. If you're gonna die as an Islander, but Lou really is loyal to these 4th line guys that kind of embody the brand of hockey that they play and that are fan favorites. We've seen it with Matt Martin, we've seen it with guys like Cal Clutterbuck and
Buttercup,
and yeah. So these are the kind of players that the GM values. This is the kind of term they're gonna get, and without a doubt.
I guess if you want to take the good parts out of this is the Islanders get him at a pretty good cap hit for a fourth-line guy. Like, I'd say that's fair for a fourth-line caliber player like him. And Casey Cizikas gets that financial security now where he knows he's going to be getting paid $2 million for the next 6 years. I mean, $2 million's nothing to scuff up, like nothing to throw away. Yeah, that's $2 million.
Nothing to shake a stick at, without a doubt, which we say all the time. But we're just talking in terms of NHL, what other guys are getting necessarily. So, the way I saw it, I didn't see any guaranteed money. I didn't see any bonus incentives. I didn't see a no movement clause. So I think this is kind of just a baseline deal, and I feel like if they necessarily need to move him and retain some salary to get rid of $2.5 million, it's not the Backus deal, which I think we keep needing to reiterate. As bad as we think this deal is, it's not that bad, but it's just a little excessive with the terms. So that one wasn't bad, which we can't talk about it all day. And then we can talk about the deals that Kyle Palmieri got, which I generally thought was a great deal. He got a 4-year, $5 million deal, which another top 6 forward getting $5 million.
I think
he consistently score.
I think he's getting a $1 million raise from his other contract. I think he was getting paid 4.1.
Yeah.
So $1 million raise for what he did, during the playoff run. I know he didn't really have a good stretch.
He's a consistent player.
He didn't really have a good stretch in the regular season when he started with the Islanders, but I mean in the playoffs the guy was. It seemed like you couldn't. He was all over the place. You were constantly hearing his name. And that's just the type of player he is. You're always going to hear his name. He's always doing something productive for your team. And he's a goal scorer, too. He's a very underrated goal scorer.
That's what he's known as, yeah. He played kind of more gritty role with the Islanders in the playoffs and stuff like that.
Well, that's Barry Trotz.
Exactly.
Getting him to buy in.
It's just the coach that, he plays for and stuff like that. When you really can't produce the goals, you got to contribute somehow. So that's kind of how he decided he was going to play. He kind of played hard around the boards. He had some sketchy moments against the Bruins that I definitely remember on guys like Charlie McAvoy and Brad Marchand and the latter. But I mean, this is a guy that he wants to win, and he doesn't care how he plays. He's going to do whatever he can to contribute to the team and give them the edge they need. But he's definitely a known goal scorer, and if he can just get to that consistent kind of play that he's known for and everyone knows him for, he can be a solid contributor for $5 million. I think this is a great contract.
If he's scoring between 25 and 35 goals a year for them at the $5 million, I think that's absolutely great.
Yeah,
and he also plays a very underrated two-way game as well. So, I mean, another great contract by Lou, and then Ilya Sorokin too.
Yeah, which I think we have a hard set definition on what's starter money and what's not starter money on this podcast, and that Ilya Sorokin gets a 3 or $4 million deal. I generally think this is it's not starter money.
Ooh.
I think for 3 years, I think it's a bridge deal. I think play under Varlamov.
You were thinking Brizgalov, weren't you?
These Russians are throwing me for a loop. But yeah, just play under Varlamov for 2 years or what of it, and then after this deal runs out, we'll give you the starter money if you've gotten to that point where we know you can be the guy and win us games. So I think this is a solid contract. So really, nothing that to what am I looking for? Nothing too extreme here. Nothing we can really freak out about. I think these are all really mundane contracts at good price and good term for each player. And the only thing really we can complain about is the 6 years for Casey Cizikas.
Yeah, I wonder how much they're paying Varlamov, though. And I wonder how much he's got left on his deal.
Let me check.
Because I think he could squeeze maybe 1, maybe 2 good
he's
years.
He's 4-year, $5 million.
Varlamov?
I think it started 2 years ago.
Okay, so
yeah,
he's
2
got
years
2
ago.
years
so
left?
2 years at $5 million left.
Okay, so they're going to go the split goalie route until Varlamov. I mean, maybe you move that contract after this year, and then you give the ranks to Sorokin. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do down the stretch here.
Yeah.
In terms of okay, obviously Varlamov's your set guy because you saw what he did last year. He was unbelievable. But then, when he was going through a bad stretch, they had no problem putting Sorokin in. I know we have, obviously we have our opinions on Sorokin because we got to see him, game 1 against the Bruins, and the guy couldn't fucking control a rebound to save his life.
Save his life, yeah.
So, I don't know. He's a good young goaltender. He was a great young goaltender when he was playing in the KHL, but it transitioned a little bit. I mean, it's his first year in the NHL. You can't knock the guy too much, but you're looking to see a good step in development this year from Sorokin and beyond, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, when you have these guys at what was it, $4 million and $5 million, it's really just performance based. You're going to be able to see throughout the season. We can't really say, oh well, if he does this, he's going to get this money. That's really just how it is. It's if he performs this well, he'll get the starter money when he gets a new contract, and Varlamov will be shipped off. But if he can't perform, then they'll re-up Varlamov. So it's all just, we got to see how it goes throughout the following seasons and see how they both play, and it'll be interesting to see how they both play out.
Yeah, here's something too. Do you move Varlamov if Sorokin's playing really good this year?
If he's better than him.
If they have two good goaltenders, you don't need a $5 million goaltender. You can get a solid backup for 2.
Well, yeah,
3.
they're not paying him Carey Price money.
I know, but they're already up against the cap as it is,
right.
And they're gonna have to pay Matt Barzal at some point. So maybe you get a guy on a rental deal for this year, a guy with 1 year left, and then I think Barzal's maybe got 1 or 2 years left on his deal. But you got to find a way to create cap space, and I think they're really banking on Sorokin being the guy. And I could honestly see Lou moving on from Varlamov just to clear cap space.
Absolutely. I mean, the spot they're in when it comes to their cap, they've kind of been pushed up against the wall for quite a long time when it comes to all the guys they need to keep and balancing the cap. So I feel like if one goalie's not performing, you might want to keep him just to see if Sorokin has a dud postseason, and you might want to put Varlamov back in. But if not, if you think that he can perform in the big moments and stay consistent, then yeah, you absolutely move him, because $5 million is a nice little piece of cap to get rid of. So I think that could absolutely be an option. But like I said, and like I keep saying, it's just all based on their performance and how it all plays out, which we'll just have to see in the regular season. So with that said, we'll move on to another re-signing. Connor Murphy inks a 4-year deal with the Blackhawks. I mean, this is a guy that came over from Arizona, had really high praise, and people thought he had a really high ceiling, and now he's just kind of found his role as a middle, as a top 4 defenseman on most teams, and on the Blackhawks he's really possessed a leadership role now.
Oh, absolutely.
With guys like Seabrook and guys like Keith kind of shipping off, they've needed guys to come in and kind of be a leadership on the back end, and that's where Connor Murphy's come in, and that's really where he's found his role. So he gets a 4-year deal. I think it's good for the Blackhawks, especially in the direction they're going. So I don't hate the deal at all. I
do too. He's a guy that's going to slot right under Seth Jones as your second paired right-handed shot defenseman. Really good shutdown guy. Possesses a lot of when you watch him play, I feel like I see a little bit of Brent Seabrook in him.
Yeah.
So I like that deal a lot. And
right.
Guy wears the freaking A on the Blackhawks.
He's relatively young too.
With Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. So
4 years, 4.4 annual salary.
That's
I don't
gorgeous.
hate that at all.
I like that a lot.
Especially for a team like the Blackhawks, who kind of need to throw around some cap with the young guys that they have. They kind of need to establish the good players they have and make sure that they're here for a long time. So I don't hate that at all. I think it's a really good contract.
He's a guy that doesn't really get talked about that much either.
No, and 4 years at 28 mil.
Oh,
I mean he's entering, or he's going to be in the prime of his career for the majority of this contract. So when he exits and you only have him at 4.4, if he can still play at 32 years old at the high level and have him at 4.4 as a top defenseman, bingo.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
That's all you need. So just slide that contract news in there. And then another piece of Blackhawks news. Jonathan Toews is back on the ice, and he's looking phenomenal.
Thank fucking God.
He missed last season with chronic immune response syndrome, which he came out with after the season. People were kind of wondering what was up with him, and he put out a press release after the season was over and was like, hey, guys, this is kind of what's going on. Like, my mental health has been a little shaky. My general health is not where it's supposed to be, but I'm back and I'm coming back and I'm on the road to recovery. And now we hear he's at camp, and not at camp, but he's skating after camp, and he looks great.
Which is great news for the NHL. It's great news for the Blackhawks. I know Jonathan Toews is a guy that I looked up to growing up playing hockey. What the hell was that?
I just keep going.
Song. Yeah, but he's a guy that I, when I was growing up, he got my idol. Oh my God, I can't talk right now. That just threw me off. Jonathan Toews
was a guy you looked up to.
Really good to see him back on the ice.
Exactly.
Let's just move on from this.
Because I mean, we're in an area of the NHL where the guys that we grew up watching and stuff like that are kind of on the back end of their career, and guys like Kane and guys like Toews and guys like Doughty's and just the beginning of the 2010s and stuff like that. All those star players are kind of fading out with exemptions of guys like Kane. He's kind of staying in the MVP race and stuff like that. But Toews, after last season, you didn't know if he was going to ever play again, or if he's ever going to return to Jonathan Toews that we know and we've watched all these years. But it's looking like he's at least going to he's getting there, or he's going to at least be somewhat of the player he used to be, which is awesome news. So with that said, we'll move on to a little IIHF news. Marie-Philippe Poulin wins the IIHF championship in overtime against the U.S. with an absolute snipe. I can't remember off the top of my head who made the pass to
But it was a
Marie.
gorgeous sauce pass.
It was right on the tape, and she just comes in and picks the top right corner, very Patrick Kane 2010-esque. No one really thought it went in. People thought it hit the crossbar and out, but she shot it, and she knew that it went in, and that was ball game.
It was kind of crazy when you go back and watch the replay and see how it went in. It went crossbar pipe down, and it crossed the line, but it didn't go into the net. It bounced right back out. So it was kind of crazy to see that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen something like that in a very long time.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't blame the refs or any other players for not knowing it went in. I think if you look at the video a million times, I mean, every single time if you ask somebody after the shot, when did you think this went ever? And be like, no, it doesn't. On the camera, it doesn't look like it went in. So I don't really blame anyone, but obviously she took the shot just like Patty Kane. Yeah, I mean, if you take the shot, you obviously know if it went in the net. So, I mean, that was a no question. And they win the fake Olympics. I guess the U.S. in where's the 22 Olympic Games being played?
I don't know, but
wherever that's being played, the USA is going to step up and they're going to win the real Olympics and show them who the real women's hockey team is.
Speaking of the Olympics, Emily Kaplan of ESPN had came out and said earlier in the week that the NHL, the NHLPA, IIHF, and I think it was the World Olympic Committee came out and said they're close to an agreement to sending NHL players to the Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
I know we were one of the first to report that on Instagram, on our Instagram page. Definitely go follow that if you've been keeping up to news. I know I've gotten a lot of kind messages about how we've been keeping people up with the news and keeping everyone informed. So I feel like we take a lot of pride in the Instagram, and if you want to go check that out, it's definitely a great tool if you want to stay up to date. But nevertheless, yeah, from what I've heard, this is basically a done deal. Bill Daly has kind of been given the reins to deputy commissioner to kind of make this happen, and he's been working with the Olympic Committee and the IAHF nonstop to make this happen, and it's looking like they're nearing the finish line, and that NHL players are going to be able to participate this year, which is awesome for the first time since 2014.
Which feels like forever.
Forever. I mean, if you told me the Oshie goal was going to be 8 years from the 22 Olympics, I wouldn't have believed you. But I mean, this is I know the Olympics is on par with the Stanley Cup playoffs, at least the first two rounds, in terms of my excitement for it. So this is great news. I mean, I love watching it every year. I love watching how the teams get made, the coaching staffs, everything. I just can't wait because this is something they've been missing for a long time.
It's always very fun seeing some of the best talent in the world play together.
Yeah.
It's actually unbelievable. And it's going to be even better this year if this deal does get finalized, because I think the United States, we've caught up in terms of skill
absolutely.
with Canada. Canada's obviously been a fucking powerhouse.
They always are.
They're always a powerhouse. They always pump hockey players. Mm-hmm. But we now have a talent of our own. We have young, good talent.
When was the last time we had a guy like Austin Matthews? Been a long time.
Ryan Kessler, 2010.
I feel like USA Hockey, the way it is they always go in as underdogs, and they just find a way to be the best. They don't have the best players collectively, but they find a way to be the best team based off coaching and the kind of game they play. And I feel like that's just the way they seem to win tournaments like IAHF World Championships and the World Juniors and stuff like that. So I see I see America not being the favorite going in, but I definitely could see them winning it, and I definitely think they will.
Let's just hope they don't build the team like they built the World Cup of Hockey team.
Right, which we talked about in probably, what was that, episode 6 or 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little tough talking about that. Talking about the World Championships, that was a little embarrassing, but we definitely have a better pool of players now, all coming from the same USA Hockey system, who have all played under the same coach, and hopefully they can bring that brand to the Olympics and take it home. So hopefully we can get that set in stone, that paper sign, and have it official, so we can definitely know that the players are going to be Olympics. But in the way it's going right now, it definitely seems like it's likely.
Mm-hmm. What do we got next here? We got we got the jug coming in here. That's what we got.
We got the big fish. The big piece of news in the hockey world this week is
the big jug.
Yeah, the dispute between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens, playing a little bit of the revenge game. Things are getting petty in the NHL, and everyone else is just getting their popcorn, taking their shoes off, and enjoying the show, because, I mean, this has been nothing but dramatic. I mean, the Carolina Hurricanes, if you haven't heard, Carolina Hurricanes extended a 1-year, $6.1 million qualifying offer to Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Jesperi was an RFA coming into this offseason, and, Carolina seems to have been, the first to jump on the opportunity to get Kotkaniemi, who, I mean, he only posted 20 points, 5 goals, 15 assists in 56 games the past season. So you have a guy like Kotkaniemi 6.1, and it just kind of seems a little bit too much in my mind. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but if you take a step back and kind of look at this from a wider perspective, it definitely just seems like a blatant diss to Montreal, and regarding them extending the offer sheet to Sebastian Aho 2 years ago, which I mean, I feel like I would be upset about that if I was Carolina too, but it was 2 years ago. I mean, but this was no, if you compare the two scenarios, where Montreal gave Sebastian Aho a contract, now Carolina's giving Kotkaniemi a contract, another promising young center. They gave Aho $42 million for 5 years.
Yeah, they gave him a legit contract
with $21 million guaranteed in the first year.
That's a legit RFA tender.
Absolutely,
qualified. That's legit.
And now Carolina's kind of struck back with a 1 year, $6.1 million deal. So there's talks that this is the work of GM Don Waddle and the owner Tom Dundon, who had experienced the move by Montreal 2 years ago, which they definitely didn't like. I know they were definitely pissed off, but for those who don't know why they would be so upset, basically, if you have a player who's an RFA, a young player who's kind of going to be the building block of your franchise, like a guy like Sebastian Aho 2 years ago for the Hurricanes, you kind of want to be able to have the negotiating rights with this player and decide, hey, like, we want you to take this term and we want you to take this money and come to a mutual agreement between the two players. But when a team comes in, like the Montreal Canadiens, and offers him a qualifying offer, a good contract at that for a lot of money, they're kind of forcing your hand to have to match that and have to give him the money, and kind of takes away all the negotiating rights. So you could see why a GM like Don Waddle and the owner Tom Dundon were a little upset with this, because they had the part with $21 million guaranteed the first year with Sebastian Aho. So they lose all of the negotiation rights. So yeah, I would be fucking pissed off too if I were them when it comes to a guy like Sebastian Aho, who's the best young player on your team. And now you can't even negotiate the contract you want with a player. He can either leave or not, which when it comes to the players who are getting these contracts, the RFAs, you offer a guy that money, that young, $42 million, he's not saying no. You'd be crazy. Because then Carolina can lowball you, you know what I mean? So you really can't blame these guys for taking these qualifying offers when it's a lot of money, which you can say the same for Kotkaniemi from Carolina. I mean, $6.1 million a year.
That's nothing
for him for 20 points, and I think that's like a 35-point in 82-game season pace. I mean, you got to take that. You're not getting that anywhere else. So.
David Pastrnak makes $6.6 million per year.
Exactly. I mean, you definitely can't pass up on that money. So I got to ask you right now: is this a cheap move by Carolina, or do you think they have every right to do it?
I think they have every right to do it.
Absolutely.
I like it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, all the Montreal fans and all their reporters and all the beat writers and stuff like that, they're all pissed off, being like, this is just like a immature, petty move by Carolina. And then everyone's like coming back and like showing reports from the same beat writers when they qualified Aho, and they're like, this is a great move for Aho here by the Canadiens. So they're definitely just not seeing both sides of the argument when it comes to that. And I think it's absolutely fair, because if you're going to do it to a guy like Sebastian Aho, who in my opinion is 4 times better than Jesperi Kotkaniemi, you should be able to do it too. I mean, I think they have a little bit of the they have a little bit of the side of the argument where like, mom, he punched me first, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I think they have every right to do it. They have that kind of immunity when it comes to offering that contract, and I don't think you can really be mad if you're an outsider watching this. If you're outside looking in, or if you're inside looking out at this scandal, we can call it. But I think there was definitely pettiness, because Tom Dundon and Don Waddle put out a statement that was word for word the same as Mark Bergevin's when they signed Aho. They were like, Sebastian Aho wants to be here. He signed our qualifying offer. And Don Waddle and Tom Dundon just posted the same exact press release, but with the different names.
Yeah, Jesperi Kotkaniemi.
There was definitely no vagueness, no subtlety to it. They wanted to let everyone know that this was blatant revenge on that deal, which I think is 1, hilarious, 2, a little ridiculous, 3, a bad move if he does accept that qualifying offer, but 4, I just I think it's righteous. I think they have a right to do it. So. I mean, if you're Montreal, I mean, this is kind of the bigger question. Never mind if it's fair or not. If you're Montreal, are you matching this?
Jesus Christ. I think you have to because you got no fucking center depth.
Right. I mean, you don't. But then again, if you do match this, you're signing a guy who is a big risk when it comes to points in terms of money and stuff like that. But excuse me, after the 1 year runs up, he's a UFA. Oh, Jesus Christ! Well, after the 1 year is up, excuse me, after the 1 year's up, he's a UFA. He can go wherever he wants. He can get whatever money he wants, and maybe you can have the negotiation rights with him now to kind of lower down that money and lower down that term and give him more term.
Mm-hmm.
So we can give you more like $4 million for 5 years, and you can have more consistent money and stuff like that for in sake of term.
More security.
Yeah. So I think if you're Montreal, you have really no choice but to sign him to this deal, just based off center depth. But but then again, if you do, you are signing a player who I don't think is worth $6 million to a $6 million contract.
Yep.
So obviously, I think we're gonna have to wait at least a couple weeks, maybe a week or two, to see where this goes, to see if Montreal matches it, because they do have a lot of time to match it. And it'll be interesting to see what they do, because this is certainly a young player that I don't think they can lose, but I definitely don't think it's a player that's worth the term that he's going to get. But then again, it's only 1 year, so definitely complicated, but it was a nice little mix-up.
Dude,
the NHL news that we needed.
It's good for the sport. It's good to have this type of shit happening.
Yeah, the headlines. Just get more headlines out. Get the popularity going. Get the clicks on the websites and get more fan interest, because this is the kind of stuff that kind of people pay attention to.
This is the kind of shit that rakes in money, and the NHL needs to make more money back because of the pandemic. So
without a doubt,
it's good on them.
Yeah, so we'll see where this goes. And then another signing, which is a little less controversial, is the Nashville Predators lockup forward Eeli Tolvanen to a 3-year, $4.35 million deal. I think it's 4.35 total, which I love that term. Tolvanen, he's only 22 years old. He just finished his first NHL season. He scored 22 points in 40 games, and his 11 goals ranked 4th on the Predators as the most by a Nashville rookie since Philip Forsberg had 26 in 2014-2015. I know Eeli Tolvanen, when he was in the pipeline for prospects, was a guy that had a lot of hype coming out of Finland and stuff like that, and he was their top European prospect. And he was not only that, but he was like a top 3 European prospect in the whole entire league. And he came in the league, I think 2 years ago, and got injured.
Yeah.
So he didn't really have a full season under his belt. And last season, he gets 20 points in 40 games. I don't hate that at all. He had 11 goals in 40 games. That's not bad at all either. So I think to sign him for a little bit more than $1 million for 3 years, so he can get his confidence up and know he has a solid place on the team, I think this is a great contract for them, because they lost a lot of good players, and they're going to need to make up for it and need guys to step up. And I feel like Tolvanen is one of those guys that they have that is available to do that.
Yeah, if he could stay healthy. I mean, he's always had a goal-scoring touch. That's what he was known for when you were saying he was a top European prospect. But the big question is, can he stay healthy? Well, if he does, I mean, this guy's a potential 50, 60, 70-point guy with 30 goals, 35 goals.
Yeah.
So I like this contract. In 3 years, this could look like, holy crap, he actually signed this. Like,
well, yeah,
stuff.
In 2 years, if he's on the last year's contract, then he's getting like he's like a 50, 60-point player for 82 games. You're like, okay, he's playing for less than $1 million. This guy's going to get paid.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if you're David Poile, it's exactly what you're hoping is happening, because this is their stud prospect. This is their stud young guy at only 22 years old. You kind of need this guy to blossom into the player he wants to be. So I'm sure he's hoping for that as well, and we'll see where that goes. So that'll do it for our NHL news. Very entertaining. I think this is a good bounce back from the weeks we've had in terms of news and headlines and stuff to talk about. So hopefully it just keeps getting better and better by the weeks. I think it's something like 44 days until the season starts, which give me that all day, baby. So
feed it to me.
Yeah, we're only like 4 weeks away from preseason, and that'll be entertaining. So we'll get to talking about that. But for now, we'll move on to Major League Baseball, which we've had also a little bit of a bizarre week when it comes to headlines and stuff like that. But we'll talk about the hometown team. The Boston Red Sox have caught the COVID bug, as players like Xander Bogaerts, Matty Barnes, and Martin Perez tested positive for COVID, and it's just when you think it couldn't get more of a shit show, it does.
Yeah, you lose your starting shortstop. You lose your closer in Martin Perez. It's just not what we needed, because now I'm looking at the roster and you get Brad Peacock and Stefan Gonzalez in the bullpen.
Right.
It's like, fuck.
So, we're definitely getting kicked while we're down right now. You keep dropping games and just keep sliding down the standings. You're like, God, just make it stop.
Right.
And then we just get, like, struck with lightning again, and this COVID bug hits us. It's like we're kind of cursed. It's like we're cursed again. Just like the stuff keeps happening. It's hard to even believe at this point. What more could go wrong? And then the whole entire team comes down with COVID, and Xander Bogaerts has to exit in the second inning.
Yeah.
After getting an RBI in the first inning. It's just, I don't know. I'm speechless at this point. It's just, this is like it's turned from the miracle season to the disaster season in
like a month.
In the course of a month, which who could have saw that coming at all? But, it's just the opportunity for them to get into the playoffs is definitely waning. But now that the A's and the Yankees are dropping games, it's kind of the only bounce we're getting is that. But Tampa's just creating separation right now in the standings in the series they're playing with the Red Sox, and as they should be, because they're playing basically the AAA squad right now. Yeah,
right. This is just, I feel like no matter what we do, we can't catch a break with this team right now. We could yell at them, we could scream at them. We could be nice, we could be hard on them, and then you just fucking, hey, you're starting shortstop, Xander Bogaerts, your all-star shortstop. He's gonna get COVID. He's done.
Yeah.
Matty Backpacks. Maybe that's why he stayed home. Maybe that's why he was away from the team.
I hope so.
And then Martin Perez just was like, oh, that's...
Fuck it, I'll get COVID too.
That's like, fuck it.
I haven't made the headlines in a couple weeks. I'll get COVID.
Yeah, I got to get my name back out there.
Yeah. But we're definitely going through the stages of grief right now. We started with denial, then went to anger, then went to bargaining, and now
You got it.
We went through depression last week, and no, we kind of reversed it. We went through anger last week, and now we're just in the depression mode.
We're in pain mode right now.
Yeah, we are. It's like nothing else can hurt us. We've been through everything when it comes to the Boston Red Sox, and time is waning for them to get back into the wild card race. But without Xander Bogaerts for 2 weeks?
Yep,
we're kind of in trouble. So.
Yeah, who the hell's playing shortstop?
Yeah, hopes are not high. So
do we have Arroyo back?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he has COVID too.
Oh my God.
So I think for those not paying attention at home, it's now Kike Hernandez, Arroyo, Xander, Matty Backpacks, Martin Perez. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but it is the majority of the starting lineup.
Middle infield, man.
Dunzo.
Arroyo, Kike, and
Bogaerts.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Who's?
Line drives up the middle.
I saw Arauz in the lineup.
Arauz.
Yairo Munoz or whatever his name is, the guy who had like a 30-game hit streak in AAA.
Yep.
And then
couldn't hit a beach
why am
ball.
I blanking? Kike's always at second and Xander's at short.
Yeah.
But Arroyo can play second and short, so you would lose him. Like
it's just like
it's never-ending pain.
It's a shit show.
Like not what we needed.
I think we've had quite enough of talking about the Red Sox.
Did Kyle
these last couple
shortstop?
He's actually playing first base right now. Actually, no, he's playing outfield. Yeah,
he's in left.
Yeah, so I'll let you. I think we've had enough of talking about the Red Sox.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry if that's why you tune in, but it's getting to the point where I can't take it anymore.
It's hard to
I can't
talk
take it
about
anymore. We have to take a vacation for listening about for talking about the Red Sox. Excuse me, because it's just getting it's too much right now, and I've just had enough. So we'll continue on to the next headline. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, Toronto Blue Jays cut reliever Brad Hand after posting a 7.27 ERA with the club ever since coming over from the trade deadline. Brad Hand led the majors in saves last year, and then went to the Nationals and took a dump on the mound. And then he was like, maybe he gets new life in Toronto, and he takes an even bigger stinky dump on the mound.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, this guy was known as one of the best lefty specialists in the league for like the past 5 years. I feel like when you needed an out versus a lefty, Brad Hand was the perfect guy. Wipe out slider and a good solid fastball changeup combo, and the wheels have fallen off. And I mean, is this the end for Brad Hand?
Dude, I mean, how many more chances is this guy going to get?
As if the Blue Jays didn't need more stinkers in their bullpen, they just get another one. Like, it's actually unbelievable. That's why
like everyone's having bullpen troubles right now.
Yeah,
all around the league.
It's very true.
I mean, good relievers and bullpen guys are hard to come by nowadays, and this is just another example. So maybe he'll land on his feet. Maybe another team will be like, hey, Brad, you want to, play like we know you can play? And he'll be like, probably not, but I can try. And then you'll get cut again.
I don't want to say the Red Sox might have to pick him up, but, I mean, we could use – if Josh Taylor goes down with COVID, then I'd consider giving Brad Hand a call.
Absolutely. So that's all she wrote for Brad Hand's career in Toronto. But I think this is on par with the Carolina news.
Dude.
The New York Mets have caused quite the stir with their new, the Lowell Mets have caused quite the stir with their new celebration from guys like Francisco Lindor and Javi Baez. The thumbs down celebration has caused quite a stir. If you haven't heard, I'll just read the statement from Mets president Sandy Alderson that was released 2 days ago. He said, in a post-game press conference today, Javi Baez stated that his thumbs-down gesture during the game was a message to fans who have recently booed him and other players for poor performance. These comments and any gestures by him or other players with a similar intent are totally unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Met fans are understandably frustrated over the team's recent performance. The players in the organization are equally frustrated, but fans at Citi Field have every right to express their own disappointment. Booing is every fan's right. The Mets will not tolerate any player gesture that is unprofessional in its meaning or is directed in a negative way towards our fans. I will be meeting with our players and staff to convey this message directly. Mets fans are loyal, passionate, knowledgeable, and more willing to express themselves. We love them for every one of these qualities. And that's all he said. So for a guy that could have just sat back and let the problem handle itself and just say something to the coach and have that kind of fizzle out, he
took it public.
He took it upon himself to release a media statement and kind of let it be known that this wasn't going to be tolerated. And I you had guys like even Kevin Pillar were hopping in and doing it too, which we've never seen anything. We've seen something like this, but nothing like this before, where there's direct, like, it's obviously a fuck you to the crowd.
Oh yeah, it's a big fuck you.
Which, I mean, I feel like the crowd has every single right to I'm siding with the fans here. I'm more of like a side with the players kind of deal, just based off, they're the guys that get paid to go out there and play and stuff like that, and you can't really disrespect them. But if you're as bad as the Mets are and you've been playing as bad as they have been playing, I mean, you just got to come to expect these boos at this point. And
especially these two idiots, these two overpaid idiots, Lindor and Baez. They're booing you because you suck and you're getting paid a lot of this money.
I mean,
the reason why they're booing is because of people like them.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
All these overpaid people. Lindor's getting $31 million to bat $227,
exactly.
And Javi Baez, they traded a boatload of prospects for a guy that was only hitting $248 in Chicago.
These are two guys in the AL that met in the 2016 World Series for the Indians and for the Cubs, and they both are from Puerto Rico. They're both star middle infielders and stuff like that.
They're best friends too.
Yeah, so they kind of both come here. Lindor signs with the Mets from the Indians and kind of wants to be the guy, and he's severely underperforming. Literally can't hit to save his life.
The beginning of the year was so bad.
Yeah, he literally couldn't hit to save his life. So he's more known for his defense. And then throughout the year, he's playing even worse. And the whole entire team is just in a slump. They go out and they get Javi Baez. Boom, season saved. Wow, we got Javi Baez. He can play second base. Ridiculous.
Shortstop, second base, and center field.
Yeah, they kind of switch him around, but he was supposed to be the guy that comes in to kind of be their savior. And he sucked.
Dude, people need to start. Okay, no, I'm not talking about Baez. I'm going to wait till that segment that we have later on.
Okay.
I have my piece.
Should I name the stats or should they wait?
They should wait.
Okay. Well, he's batting sub 300 for to put it lightly. But this is a guy you can't be thumbsing down the crowd. You have been a colossal disappointment.
Yes.
Every single expectation
I agree 100%.
Every single expectation people have had for this team has just been crumbled, and they haven't even reached what people thought they could accomplish with the skill that they had in the middle infield with these two guys. And then they also bring in Kevin Pillar, who had a great year with the Red Sox. People forget he played for the Red Sox.
He played for the Red Sox, and then he got traded to the Rockies.
Yeah.
But he was doing very well for the Red Sox.
Well. So they have a decent team on paper and stuff like that. Their lineup 1 through 9 is pretty good.
Oh my God.
And just to come out and lay stinker after stinker after stinker. What do you expect?
You have James McCann. You have the back-to-back home run derby champion Pete Alonso. You have Francisco Lindor, Javi Baez, Dominic Smith, Michael Conforto,
Jacob deGrom,
Carlos Carrasco, Taijuan Walker, Marcus Stroman, Edwin Diaz,
Yeah.
Trevor May.
And you suck.
And you still suck.
And you suck, and you sit there in the ballpark, and you play these games, and you go 0 for 4, you bat 0 for 4, and you have a couple errors, and you guys lose like 7-1 to fucking Nationals.
What do you expect
to the Washington
the
Nationals?
fan?
And they're sitting there, and you're getting booed, and you're like, why are they booing us?
Yeah. What do you expect to have them cheer for you after you stink it up?
These guys wouldn't last a second over there in the Bronx.
Oh my God!
They would be dead meat.
Here, the Bronx, like any other,
even the Dodgers.
Yeah, L.A. too. Is there any other? I'm trying to think of any other. St. Louis too would rip them apart.
I guess the one thing we can take away from this is these guys just aren't meant for the big markets. They've played in places like I know he played in Cleveland. I guess they do things. I think they're just used to losing where you don't get booed in Cleveland, so he comes over here and he didn't really expect it.
And then Chicago, Javi was great in Chicago until, a couple of years ago, which we'll get into later. But, I don't think he was very used to getting booed. He was a fan favorite in Chicago. Yeah. And he comes over to the Mets, continues to stink it up, and he gets booed. And it's probably the first time he's gotten booed. Like, what do you expect, dude? You suck.
Yeah, well, hey, before we get too upset, which we did have to cover it since we missed the beginning of the whole entire saga at the beginning of the week, since this is a one episode a week podcast. Yesterday, after the game, Javi got interviewed, and obviously Sandy Alderson spoke with the team, was like, hey guys, cut the shit. You
guys can't do that.
We are
you
the
stink.
laughing stock. We are the laughing stock of the league right now, okay?
Guys,
you can't be doing this.
Guys, we suck.
You're adding fuel to the fire.
There's a reason why they're booing you, and it's because you guys suck.
Yeah. Sandy Alderson sat the two guys down in the corners like, hey, you two idiots.
You guys
shut the fuck up.
You guys are probably the two of the most overrated players in baseball. We'll get to later.
Yeah, we'll get to later. But nevertheless, something was obviously said by Sandy Alderson, and yesterday, Javi Baez said, I didn't mean to offend anybody. And then that's really all he said, was the only thing of substance.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he said, I was sorry. There's a 2-minute clip I can play, but it's a little bit too long. And then Javi tweeted out after the game, #fans. We just need to stay together. We want to win too. El Mago going to be El Mago. Whatever that fucking means.
Whatever fucking El Mago means.
Whatever that means. And then Lindor added, it doesn't look good on our part. And then Lindor also said the gesture was not explicitly about the fans. Dude, how dumb do you think we are?
We're not dumb. We know
you are
baseball.
Looking to the crowd.
And going,
thumbs
sonk.
Down. Sonk.
Like,
you might as well just flip the bird.
Dude, honestly.
Just give the fans the bird.
Like Andrew Ferentz in Montreal. Just boop.
Yeah, but to your own fans this time.
But to your own fans.
So, Lindor also added, thumbs down for me means adversity. Bullshit. The adversity we have gone through in this whole time. Bullshit. Lindor said, like the negative things, we overcome it. So it's like, we did it. We went over it.
Both of them need to shut up
and
remember how to hit a baseball.
However, it was wrong, and I apologize to whoever I offended. It was not my intent to offend people. Bullshit. Nevertheless, they are on a win streak because they're playing the likes of the Miami Marlins and the Washington Nationals, which good. Get back on this little tear, but just don't make a fool out of yourselves when shit starts to hit the fan again.
When the tough gets going, they're not going to go and get tough.
Yeah, not at
right
all.
Now.
Which I mean, just absolutely spit out that horse shit in that interview and try and tell us it wasn't meant to offend anybody. They obviously meant to offend the fans, and that was made clear in the interview afterwards. Hey, if you're gonna boo us, we're gonna boo you. Are these guys new to professional sports?
Like, they actually think we're idiots. I think
you paid $50 million and you're booing the fans.
That's that right there. That sequence. That's a clip.
Yeah,
that's
whatever.
A clip. How you doing?
It is what it is. It's obviously over now. I don't think anything like this will ever happen again. Just based off the reaction of Sandy Alderson, if it does happen again, there's going to be actual consequences taken. And, that it is what it is. So the Mets are back. Mets are on a 3-game winning streak, so they're back to where they need to be.
How do you willingly shit on your own fans after you're the one that's causing all the trouble anyway? Like, you're the one that you're getting. The reason why these fans hate you guys is because of you two are two of the biggest names in baseball.
Well, the whole roster's not too good.
No, they get the big names though. I just rattle off those big names. Those are the two biggest names besides Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
Those are the two biggest names that you see. And you look at the stats and you look how they play and you're like,
severe underachievers.
That's awful. Like where were you guys? Where's the 2016 version of you guys?
Yeah, so but hey, to put this in light, at least someone is making the Red Sox not look like complete idiots and taking the spotlight off them for a couple weeks. So
amen.
Actually,
that.
Lindor, Baez, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the content. That's gonna be a hell of a clip.
Thanks for the content. Thanks for taking the Red Sox out of the embarrassment spotlight, and thanks for being the laughing stock for a couple days. We appreciate it, and hopefully they can get back on track because they have the talent.
Oh yeah, they have the big names.
Yeah, they just need to get back to playing the way that everyone thinks they can play. So with that said, we'll move on to some feel good news. Chris Bassett says he wants to return this year after getting hit with a pitch in the game against the White Sox on August 17th. That's 2 weeks ago.
That's fucking gritty. That's got like hockey guy like just grit written all over it. And I love it.
I mean, just an absolute master of the grit.
Guy gets his face mangled. He's like, yeah, I want to pitch again. My team's gonna go on a postseason run. Fuck yeah,
I want to be there for it. I want to be in the pen.
I love that.
I'll do whatever I can to contribute, which you love to see. I mean, just 2 weeks. I know if you want to hear more about it, two episodes ago we talked about it and how we talked about it for a long time, and obviously it was a sore topic of the episode and stuff like that. But the fact that he got facial reconstruction surgery a week ago. What is he gonna wear? A bubble? Is he gonna wear a helmet?
That actually, like, he wears
toss
like
on the bucket.
Throws a halfie on.
Yeah.
No, he actually. Oh my god.
The full cage.
Well, I know there was a pitcher back like in the '80s that was wearing like the first and third base coach like helmet style. Like the ones that the catchers wear.
Yeah.
You go backwards and you pull the mask over your face, but. That's not gonna. That just helps your head. Like, is he gonna actually have to wear a fishbowl?
I don't know, but I don't know how long. I'm not a medical professional. I don't know how long facial reconstruction takes to recover and how long it takes to heal. But it's definitely not a week.
Well, of course, when Giancarlo Stanton got nailed in the jaw, he started the trend of people wearing the chin guard on the left side, and you see guys today.
Hitters, though.
Like you see Stanton, Christian Yelich,
they all wear it.
Schwarber, all these guys wear the jaw protector.
Yeah.
So maybe they make something for pitchers where it's just like, I don't know. Maybe
it's getting to the point where something needs to happen. I know a good 5 or 6 years ago they were talking with New Era and the guys who make the hats and talking about adding a lot more extra padding and protection into the pitchers' hats and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't think the league will honestly allow him to come back in the time he wants to, but I think give it an extra 2 months or a month and a half or whatever it may be to the point where he's all healed up and he's ready to go. Sure, absolutely let him back.
Maybe they get into the wild card game, they win the wild card game, they get a divisional series against the Rays, and
maybe
boom, he's back in the rotation.
Yeah, so as much as he might want to come back, I don't think he necessarily should just based off the time your face takes to heal.
He's basically got I think the regular season ends in early October.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he wants to come back, he's got to be ready in a month. So
right. Nevertheless, it's great to see a guy have this much tenacity and grit. Really want to come back. Yeah, and grit, exactly. Grit to come back and pitch for his squad and contribute to the team just 2 weeks after getting hit with a line drive. So, speedy recovery to him, and hopefully he can get his wish and come back.
Mm-hmm. I got fired up when I read that.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this, so it's great that you put it on the notes because that's absolutely great news. And some even not better news, but some even par news. The Yankees are on a 3-game losing streak to the Angels. Ha 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 ha.
About fucking time.
About time. They cool down after having their best winning streak since 1956. The Yankees have finally cooled down and they're kind of getting back to their normal selves, and they've dropped 3 straight to the Angels. And Shohei Ohtani is absolutely showing out. He's hit 40. Don't say it.
Okay.
Don't say it.
I was gonna say, hey, the Yankees weren't,
very, very careful.
Shohei
Ohtani hits his 42nd home run, just an absolute jack. I mean, the way this guy stands in the batter box and literally just ropes it to right field.
He has the Ichiro like he's like walking out of the box.
It's like a golf swing. The way he kind of uses his momentum from the hips and just kind of ropes it perfectly.
Holy
every
shit.
single time. He's done it 42 times.
I never thought of that like that. That he does have like a golf-esque like swing to him.
Right, but the thing is, when you have a golf swing like that, you expect the low pitches to kind of be in your spot, but the high pitches he's been raking too.
He can get to him. He's got great bat speed. Very underrated bat speed.
6'6"?
Yeah, he's a tall fuck. He's 6'5".
He's 6'4", so yeah, he can definitely go up and get those pitches high in the zone and stuff like that and still have the kind of underswing to kind of take him yard and stuff like that. But 42 home runs while still pitching. He hit his 42nd the other day, and then the day after that, he started against the Yankees and got the win. So this guy's just doing stuff that no one's ever done before. We can talk about it every single podcast for the rest of our lives.
And I will.
Yeah.
I'll fucking talk about it. It's so
never,
impressive.
It's never going to lose the appeal and the novelty that we've seen from Shohei Ohtani. And hopefully he can just continue to do his thing, because with a month left, he could hit, 50 home runs, and he's in the lead right now with ease. So it's just great to watch Shohei, and I'm just so thankful to be able to every single night go in and watch a guy like this play, because who knows how long he's going to be able to keep it up. And it was a shame that he was overseas for so long, because we've been missing this guy in the league.
History in the making right here.
Absolutely. So with that said, that'll do it for the MLB news. I know we've had some weird headlines and stuff like that, but with the absence of the Red Sox skill. So with that said, we'll move on to football. But another good week of baseball, if you ask me.
Yeah, thank you to the New York Mets for their fucking just blessing us with the content
Absolutely.
on that one.
But I think this is the news I've been hoping for.
shit.
This is what I've been looking forward to talking to all week. NFL football is back, baby. A week from tomorrow, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football to christen us with the opening week of football. Yeah.
And I'm going to get chills down my spine. Hi,
But
it's
yeah.
Al Michaels alongside Chris Collinsworth. I'm like,
Yeah. Football! So that'll be back. We'll have an episode on Monday previewing week 1 and everything that it entails and everything that we should be looking forward to. But, folks, Michael McCorkle-Jones is the quarterback of the New England Patriots.
oh,
Yesterday, around 10:30, the New England Patriots cut Cam Newton from the squad. They released him, which officially put Mac Jones as the starter of this team. What a wonderful feeling.
yeah, everything that we wanted has actually, it came to life, and it worked out the way we thought it was going to work
Yeah.
out.
So I'm ecstatic about this. I know a lot of people that are upset about the departure of Cam Newton, but to have Mac under the helm, just the way he's played in preseason, you really can't complain, because this kid is ready.
I'm so glad that Mac is the starter, but I definitely wouldn't mind having Cam as the backup. But in terms of Cam Newton as a New England Patriot, just want to thank him for the year he gave us. What he did wasn't easy.
No, going 7-9 with that absolute horrible roster. Yeah.
Not only 7-9 with probably the shittiest offense of the year last year, he had to be the guy that replaced Tom Brady.
Right.
He's the guy that replaced Tom Brady. What he did wasn't easy, and I give him full props for what he did. And he wasn't even healthy the year. He took this team to 7-9 with a bum shoulder, and he got COVID-19.
Right. So he went through it all. He went through the ringer. But I think people are wondering why he wasn't sticking around to be the backup, and say if Mac Jones gets hurt or whatnot, or if anything hits the fan. I think it was more of a respect thing from Bill Belichick when it comes to
I agree.
When it comes to, you're one of the hardest workers I've ever coached. You helped us through the worst season we've had in the last 2 decades, and you kind of helped us pass the torch from Brady to Jones. You don't deserve to be on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Go somewhere that needs you. Go somewhere that might need a backup that has an actual role, and maybe just go find a starter spot. Because, I think Bill said it a million times, this is a guy that's the hardest worker on the team, and he's a great leader. So I think generally when it comes to the release and how it pertains to that, I think he was released just based off respect, and Bill definitely wanted him to go get an opportunity somewhere where he can be a leader and be a starting quarterback. So hopefully he lands on his feet. And he can learn a playbook in 1 week, and he can get going. But best of luck to Cam. Thank you for everything. I think that deserves a round of applause. I know 7-9 is nothing to write home about, but with the team he was given, and during the COVID year with no fans and stuff like that, he did the best he could. And all respect to that, because it wasn't easy. But now we'll shift our focus, because Mac Jones is the quarterback of this football team.
Tom Brady 2.0 was just literally what I see. It's just all the same intangibles that he had. Gets the ball out quick. Just straight drop back, sit in the pocket quarterback.
Just surveying the field.
Just the kid's 22, 21 years old.
22, I think.
And the guy, he's already acting like a veteran.
Yeah.
His decision making at the line of scrimmage is veteran-esque. He's such a smart quarterback, and it was so. I feel like it would have been easy for McDaniels and Belichick to go this route, because you already have this offense in place. You didn't tuck this. You just tucked it away for a year.
Absolutely.
You're gonna see all the Brady offense stuff come back out, 2 tight end sets, a lot of play action. Like,
Yeah.
And this guy, he could do it.
Not a lot of deep balls.
No.
I think it's going to be the Brady offense that we've
Dink-
known and loved and had a
dink
lot
and
of
dunk.
success for. Yeah, just dink and dunk down the field that Brady definitely got a lot of shit for when he was here, when we were talking about how Brady can't throw deep,
However,
quote unquote.
However, when Brady threw the ball downfield, like, it was on the money. When Mac was throwing the ball downfield, I mean, they were right on the money.
You think so?
His deep balls during the preseason were gorgeous, and I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah, everybody is.
I'm so excited to watch this kid hopefully dominate for the next decade plus
Yeah,
as our starting quarterback. Hopefully win us a couple Super Bowls.
maybe 4 or 5, but
It's a new era in
yeah,
New England,
it
baby.
definitely is. This is a sign of the times and the sign of how things are changing, and it's we're going into the new era of Patriots football. And one of the most promising things I've heard about Mac Jones when it comes to his professionalism is that he's a guy that makes a mistake and never makes it again. He learns from it so quickly, and I think, what more could you want out of a rookie quarterback? Because you're going to make a ton of mistakes, but if you never make them again and you learn from it and you watch the tape and you make sure you're better next time, I mean, you're going to adjust to the NFL and become that pro that you need to be, just like that. It's going to be instant. So he turns 23 on Sunday. So he'll be going in. I mean, he's young but not too young, so he's obviously being thrown in the fire very quickly, and he'll get that start against Miami in week 1, which is going to be a great game. It's going to be awesome to see him play his first actual NFL game and have the wide receivers at his disposal that he didn't really have in the preseason. He was playing with guys like
Christian Wilkins, Isaiah Zuber.
There you go, you got it.
Yep.
So he was playing with those guys. So when you get guys like Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar and Jacoby Myers and N'Keal Harry, spread out with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, this kid is going to be dynamite. So I'm looking forward to it.
With the stable of running backs we have.
Stable. So I mean, I feel like people are underestimating the Patriots just based off the team we had last year is very similar to the one we have this year, with the exception of the defense. The defense is brand new, and then we brought in the new tight end. So I feel like the Patriots are going to be very, very, very dangerous if they can stay healthy. And I think maybe Bill goes out and he gets a wide receiver to complement Mac at the trade deadline, because right now the defense is perfect how it is.
Oh my God.
With guys like Christian Barmore and guys like Josh Uche and Matthew Judon all coming in and just establishing their presence on this team, being leaders at such a young age. I love the direction this team's going in, if you ask me.
Yeah, like a 1 year turnaround rebuild.
Right.
Was perfect for this team.
And not only that, yeah, you can be excited about the Patriots and everything and stuff like that, but also I think another thing to be excited about is how fun the competitive dynamic is going to be in the AFC East this year between them and the Bills. It's just going to be an absolute war. I bet the games they play against each other are amazing. I know the fact we're going to have Stefan Gilmore out the first 6 weeks is a little annoying, but hopefully he can get back and become the Stefan Gilmore we all know him to be, because we're going to need him in those Buffalo games against guys like Stephon Diggs. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. Just the dynamic in the AFC East is going to be something we haven't seen in a long time.
It's a new era. Josh Allen's the oldest quarterback in the AFC East, and he's 25.
Yeah. So
you got two rookies and Mac and Zach Wilson. You got a 1 year guy
and Tua,
and
yeah.
I think this is Josh Allen's third year.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully we get to watch all these guys go at it for the next decade, because that's going to be fun.
But yeah, I think it's just going to be a whole new experience. We haven't seen an AFC East where it's this competitive since, 2010, 2009 with the Jets?
Yeah.
When they were in their prime, so it's going to be awesome to watch.
Sanchez.
Yeah. the competitiveness is going to be top tier, so I'm looking forward to that and stuff like that. But the new quarterback for the New England Patriots is Mac Jones, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be real damn fun. It's going to be a good time. So with that said, we'll move on to more to some injury news that we've gotten on the docket. We just talked about Stefan Gilmore being on the physically unable to perform list. That was reported a couple days ago. Michael Thomas, this guy can't catch a break.
Nope.
Absolutely not. He's going to be out also another 6 weeks. And David Bakhtiari, star offensive lineman for the Green Bay Packers, is going to be out 6 weeks as well with a ACL injury, which is the least favorite injury, which we have more guys out with ACL injuries too. We'll talk about later, but these are all three guys who are key to their teams. I know it's very diverse. You have a cornerback, a wide receiver, and an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And some of the best of their position in the whole entire league. So the first 6 weeks will be without them. I know it's for different reasons. I know Gilmore's a quad. Michael Thomas is
ankle.
I thought it was ankle as well, and you have an ACL. So speedy recovery to those three guys, and then some. I know the 52-man roster cut was
53.
53 was yesterday at 4:00, and all those are set in stone now. And one of those guys that made one of the rosters was Josh Rosen, gets the backup spot.
job.
Yeah, for Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. I know he played decently well in his preseason debut. After I think he left either the Texans or the Dolphins. I don't know. He's been everywhere, but he leaves there and he signs with the Falcons, and then he beats out Felipe Franks for that backup spot. After the loss of A.J. McCarron, he tears his ACL, so they lost him, and Josh Rosen saw the opportunity, and he took it, and he'll be the backup on that team. And then J.K. Dobbins, former Ohio State Buckeye, going into his second year, tore his ACL and will now be out for the season. I know that's just a huge blow for the Ravens because he was very good. He adjusted to the NFL incredibly quickly last year in this first year, but he really didn't play to the standard he did at Ohio State and he did in college. And during the preseason, everyone was saying he was poised for a breakout year, and then he tears his ACL a week before the season.
Just gutting.
Yeah, gutting. Even if you're not a fan of the Ravens, this is a guy that is a future star in the league and stuff like that, so you would like him to stay healthy. So, you can have a little bit more competitiveness, but you're just going to have to wait till next year. So, unfortunate for J.K. Dobbins. And then a little minor trade, Gardner Minshew.
Minshew Mania.
He gets traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 6th-rounder. I was clear he was not staying in Jacksonville, absolutely not, after they said that Lawrence was the starter. But I don't know. Do you think he could even I think it's more of a backup role for him in Philly, just in case Jalen Hurts doesn't work out.
I think Jalen Hurts is going to work out. That's the thing. So I don't see the point of Philly wanting Gardner Minshew, but he is a very capable backup, in my opinion. Right. That's a hell of a QB room with Jalen Hurts, Gardner Minshew. I don't know if did they cut Joe Flacco?
No.
So that's one hell of a QB room.
Yeah.
Right there.
Absolutely.
In case Jalen Hurts doesn't, he sucks one week or he gets hurt, you can go to Minshew and Flacco.
Right. So it's absolutely an interesting. I don't get why they did it, but Gardner Minshew is probably, I would have to guess, is a good locker room guy.
It has to be, dude. Guys like what's his name, Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite.
Throw the football over those mountains. So I think this is just a third string kind of move for Philly, but 6th-rounder, just no harm there. And then one of the more interesting pieces of news, the Packers versus Saints will be played at the Jacksonville Stadium due to harsh conditions of Hurricane Irma. I know this is something that was kind of just being surveyed throughout the week, just based on how bad the conditions were going to get in New Orleans and stuff like that. And it just got to a point where Sean Payton was like, "Yeah, I don't think we're going back. I don't think we're going back just because of flooding, just poor weather, and just the state of the neighborhoods there. It's just it's too bad to be able to play a football game. So they'll be going down to Jacksonville and playing there against the Packers, and the Saints will be the home team. So I know Jacksonville's on the road first week against I forget, it might be Philly. But yeah, they'll play at that stadium just for the time being, just until Caesars Superdome is ready, because
I guess there was
first week Jaguars will be in Houston. So
I don't know where I did happen to see this though. I don't remember where I saw it, but there was only minor damage to the Superdome. So
yeah.
Nothing crazy, but
yeah, but it's not like it's one thing. People trying to get to the game is going to cause enough mayhem already if they did play there and stuff like that. So I think it's for the best they just take a step back and let that area recover from that, because they've been hit with so many harsh hurricanes. You really don't want to make things harder by hosting a football game where it's like 60,000 people? So
60,000 people plus.
Yeah, you don't want that much traffic going through a city that already needs its infrastructure reinforced and stuff like that. So it's good. Take a step back, play a game at Jacksonville. If it turns out the area needs a little bit more time to recoup, give them 2 weeks. So whatever they need to do, because these hurricanes are no joke, especially in a place like New Orleans. So do whatever they need to do. I think that really does it. I know it's just been the calm before the storm. No pun intended.
Jesus.
Before next week starts with the regular season. So we'll talk about that on Wednesday. I know the pod will be recording on Zoom on Wednesday, and it'll be up on Thursday just in time for week 1 and stuff like that. So that'll be the big topic this week. But this week it was a little bit quieter and just the 53-man roster, and that was basically it. So with that said, we'll move on to basketball. I know this one's a little quiet as well, but we definitely had some wacky stories like we have with the other 2 leagues and stuff like that. But kind of the biggest story we've had all week is Ben Simmons wants out. He's done in Philly. He announced to the team that he will not be returning for training camp and won't be returning to the team for all the other stuff leading up, and he's basically done. I don't think it was ever said that he wanted to request a trade, but I think something just happened. I know there was after the season was done, they said they were going to try and fix a shot. Which I would too. But maybe they just tried to do something in his game that he didn't like, and he had enough, which, I mean, if this is how it ends, boy, did it go down in a shit show.
Yeah, like you said it on the Instagram, boy, did it go down in flames.
It went down in flames.
Holy hell.
You knew it was going to be bad. You didn't know it was going to be this bad. You would have thought it would have been like a trade deadline kind of thing where he plays a little bit, kind of ups his value. I think that's what we both anticipated. He was going to up his value, and then they were going to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
But he just got to the point where he's like, no, guys, I'm done.
Fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm out. So Joel Embiid this morning denied that there was a rift with his teammate. He said, stop using my name to push people's agenda. I love and hate drama. I love playing with Ben. Stats don't lie. He's an amazing player, and we all didn't get the job done. It's on me personally. I hope everyone is back because I know we're good enough to win. And he said, I haven't forgotten, but 2 years ago I got booed. People in Philly wanted me to be traded. I even shushed them. Only the real ones didn't, but I just put in the work in that offseason to be better because I knew I wasn't playing up to my potential. Philly fans, y'all also got to be better. For clarity, I love the criticism. I love when I'm told I can't do something. Makes me work harder to prove everyone wrong, but not everyone is built like that. So a subtle shot, I don't know. Maybe just saying people don't appreciate the criticism, and that's obviously directed at Ben, so
people don't handle criticism, well, and they don't take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly. People handle it all differently and stuff like that. So we'll see, how that goes and stuff like that. So who knows if he gets shipped out before the season even starts, or if they just keep him on the roster and try and convince him to come back. But the way that tweet that shows it seems like Ben's or Embiid's going to try and talk to Ben and reason with him. But we'll see how it all pans out, and it'll definitely be interesting. But definitely an interesting report because who knows. No one really anticipated that happening so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely interesting. And then Rajon Rondo is back with the Los Angeles Lakers on a 1-year deal. He got bought out by the Grizzlies a couple days ago, and everyone's kind of anticipating he was going to go back to where he won the championship. And that's exactly what he did. He played a good role in LA as kind of the depth point guard, and he'll be replacing guys like Dennis Schroeder, now Boston Celtic. So he'll look to get back to the position he was with the Lakers 2 years ago in the bubble, and we'll see how he plays with LeBron and Westbrook and how they manage that lineup.
Yep.
So, and then another piece of news, Cavaliers get Lauri Markkanen, three team sign and trade deal from the Bulls. I know Markkanen was a guy that him and
the Big Finn, baby, let's go.
Him and Mitch Trubisky were kind of paired together as the two big prospects.
The big pillars.
Yeah, and then we saw how both of those panned out, and and they kind of both hit the fan. So I mean that ends that era of young prospects in Chicago, and now they move on to guys like Lonzo Ball and Justin Fields. So obviously greener pastures than that, but now the Cavs get a young player that looks to establish his identity somewhere else because he's a good player.
Dude, they have that Cavaliers team, their backcourt. They have Jared Allen. They have Kevin Love. They have Lauri Markkanen. They have Evan Mobley, who they took 4th overall this year. And they have Taco Fall.
Yeah.
That's whoa, what is going on here?
So they're obviously putting together a solid core of young players and stuff like that.
They want to play some bully ball, huh?
Absolutely. And, I mean, if all these guys can reach their potential, they can definitely have a better year than they did last year, so we'll see how it all pans out. And a little bit of crazier news, Grizzlies, I think he's a forward.
Jackson Hayes, I thought he was a Pelican.
Pelican, yeah, my bad. There's a video that shows the police using a stun gun on New Orleans Pelicans center Jackson Hayes at his Los Angeles home just 4 days ago. I think his ex-girlfriend's cousin called the police on him just based off some dangerous texts and stuff like that, and it was getting a little dicey. I know a trend with the NBA players is that they have a lot of disputes with these girlfriends where they think they're being a little dangerous and stuff like that, but I mean, who honestly knows at this point? It just happens so often. But the officers went to Hayes' home in Woodland Hills neighborhood on July 28th around 3 a.m. And basically what happened is Jackson Hayes was the police were there to arrest Jackson Hayes.
Yes.
He resisted arrest. The officers, kind of detained him, and then he tried to go back in his house, and they stun gunned him, and that was it. But now he's in better standing. I know his attorney said Jackson Hughes is a nice young man, and he's back in his home in Ohio working out and getting ready for the upcoming season, which is perfect. That's all really you need to hear, and all people really know about that. Obviously, it's in the past. The attorneys will handle that dispute, but the stun gun, that's a little extreme.
Like how dicey to get for them to use the stun gun.
Right, which obviously we'll never see the police footage and stuff like that, but that's definitely something people didn't really know about, and it's good that he's home and he's getting focused for the NBA season. He's not letting this bad press really get to him, and that's all you really want to see out of these young athletes. Let the attorneys handle it. So a little bit of crazy news coming out of the NBA, but that'll really do it for this week for basketball. We move on to college football, baby. College football's back. I'm happy as a clam.
Oh, yeah, you big college football guy?
I'm unbelievably a big college football. Obviously, Ohio State begins their season tomorrow against Minnesota.
That's a huge game. I'm actually going to tune into that one.
No, yeah, as you should. And I mean, I think that's a great little opening game for the weekend that's coming. And it's at 8 o'clock tomorrow. We'll get to see some of the new players come in and who's going to fill the shoes of Justin Fields and stuff like that. So I know everyone's more than excited. I'm very excited. And then this weekend, we have 57 games.
That is
all televised on ESPN and the brother and sister channels. And the first real one that catches my eye is come on, let me pull it up. Is Penn State. Penn State plays
Wisconsin?
Yeah, plays Wisco. Why can't I find? Yep, there we go. My bad. I'm sorry. Number 19 Penn State plays number 12 Wisco in Wisconsin at noon. And I know Wisconsin's going to be bumping. I know that's the first time they get fans, full capacity back in their stadium. And I know the student body are going to be crazy, and that game's going to be insane. Penn State, for them, they're going to look to try to get back to the spot they were in 2017 with guys like Trace McSorley and Micah Parsons and Saquon Barkley, which I know number 19 isn't where they want to be sitting, but it is what it is. Yeah, then they have to face a formidable opponent in the Wisconsin Badgers. But then another game on noon is number 2 Oklahoma plays Tulane. We get to see Spencer Rattler really have his first game as a Sooner in the big position. I know last year was a little bit of a fluke and they didn't really do too well, but now they're sitting at number 2 in the AP ranked poll. So that's gonna be great to see. Obviously Tulane's a little bit of a fluke, but just to see him under shotgun, and I know he's a Heisman favorite. So to see him start off his season, hopefully start on a high note at 12 o'clock on ABC against Tulane, that's going to be a must-watch as well. It's just going to be one of 57 games that you should tune into, honestly. I'll be at the Red Sox game, but I know I'll have the scores out. I'll be checking everything. I'll have a couple bets placed and stuff like that. College football is my premier go-to sport to put money on. So always love this time of the season. And then another game I'm definitely looking forward to is Bama versus Miami.
That's a great game.
Number 1 Bama against number 14 Miami at 3:30 on ABC at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So we get to see who's going to take the reins from Mac Jones from Alabama against Miami, who's always gritty and stuff like that. They always give people games and whatnot. So that's going to be interesting to see, and we're going to see how the team favors after the era that's ended with guys like Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Tua, Jalen, Mac Jones. We're going to see all those new waves of players and see Bryce Young. He's gonna be under center for the first time. We'll see how he does in his first official college game. That's gonna be awesome against Miami, and they'll definitely give him a hell of a bout. So, and then you have Indiana versus Iowa in Iowa. It's just one of those classic Midwestern games. Both teams punching each other in the mouth. Iowa being number 18 and Indiana being number 17. A little bit higher in the top 25 polls, but both these teams want to rise in the ranks, and they're gonna have to start against each other in Iowa, which is going to be awesome because their crowd's always phenomenal. Always phenomenal.
Is a zoo.
So those are the games I'm looking forward to in college football this weekend. I know we'll have a lot to talk about. And then, do you have a couple?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to LSU, which is my favorite college football team. Has been for a long time. LSU's playing UCLA. UCLA played, I don't know if it was a preseason game, but I saw them on ESPN. They were kicking the crap out of another team. It was a smaller school, but they were just kicking the crap out of the other team, and the running back was running the football really well. And then Sam Howell, the North Carolina quarterback, what a top prospect for the draft next year. They'll square off. The North Carolina Tar Heels will square off against Virginia Tech. And that's pretty much what I got.
So we'll definitely recap everything on Wednesday's episode and see if there were any upsets and see how these new guys are going to favor. Because hell, I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a great weekend and a great Saturday, as it always is. And now, folks, we'll move on to a new segment that we like to call, "Oh, this guy's good," or is he? It's more of a segment of if we think guys are overrated or underrated, or if we think they're exactly where they're supposed to be. We'll do this with one guy a week, and it adds a little bit more debate to the episodes and stuff like that. So I'll start off with my guy. This is going to be very controversial because he's known as the face of baseball, Fernando Tatis Jr. Let me know what you think about this, because I think this is a guy which, I think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
He can hit the ball like not many other players and stuff like that, but I think if you're looking at guys to be the face of baseball and to be, the guy and to be the face of your whole entire league, and he's batting .282. I don't know. Something about that just doesn't do it to me. I think he is a top 25 player in the league. You could probably even say top 20, but I just think for a face of a league, face of a franchise, for him to be batting .282, not the best. So, yeah, I think he's severely, I wouldn't say severely, but I think for the way that people see him as being the best player in the league, I don't think there's any shot in hell he's the best player in the league. So I'm going to say he's overrated. What do you think? Do you think he's on par to be the player that everyone thinks he's going to be?
No, I think he's slightly overrated just because he's very overrated in terms of his defense. Like,
Absolutely.
People think he's
That's
a
his biggest
highlight reel
downfall.
machine, and he's actually a shitty defender.
Yeah.
Like, he can't make the routine play.
Exactly. So he's one of the worst defensive shortstops in the game, but just the way he hits the ball gets people watching and stuff like that, and obviously he's a guy that everyone would like to have on his team, but I think I'm basically just saying he's not where he needs to be if he wants to be the best player in the league and be the likes of guys like Bryce Harper in his prime and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I'm gonna say he's a little bit overrated, but I'll let you move on to your guy.
All right, well, my guys, because I've been teasing this the whole time when we were talking about Francisco Lindor and Javier Baez, and I'm gonna go. They are both fucking so overrated, it actually hurts.
This is the Javier Baez and Francisco Lindor podcast.
Javier Baez. Okay, so we'll start with Javier Baez, right? From 2016 to 2019, he went. His batting average, 273, 290, 281. And then all of a sudden, you get to 2020. 59 games, small sample size. 203. Only 8 homers, 24 RBIs. 2021.
I'll give that a thumbs down.
With 91 games with the Cubs, he hit 248, which is, it's not bad, but it's not like he's good. Javier fucking Baez. He should be hitting higher than that. He was batting 248, 22 home runs, 65 RBIs. In 19 games with the Mets, he is hitting 227 with 4 homers, 8 RBIs. That's fucking terrible.
So the way that it sounds to me is that he's a career 250 hitter.
He is a career 262 hitter.
Yeah.
And in 2018, he hit 290 with 34 jacks and 111 ribbies.
Yeah, I mean,
that was the old Javi Baez. We need to stop thinking of Javi Baez as a guy that's going to go out and hit 280 with, 25-plus jacks and 90-plus RBIs. He's not that person anymore.
No, not at all. And I used to look at him as one of my favorite shortstops in the league and stuff like that. But now that just with this immature gesture with the Mets, I think it's definitely dropped his stock with a lot of people, me included. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a little overrated, but I think he's one of those guys that can hit a higher ceiling than that. So I think I think he still has the opportunity to become the player people think he can be, and he's just not really. He's consistently playing bad.
Yeah,
so I think that's really the moral of that story.
And then next up we have Francisco Lindor, who just signed for a big chunk of change in Queens, from 2017 to 2019. His batting average 273 with 33 home runs and 89 RBIs, 15 stolen bases. Next year, 277, 38 jacks, 92 ribbies, 25 stolen bases. Next year after that, 284, 32 jacks, 75 ribbies, 22 stolen bases. We get to 2020. Batted 258, 8 homers, 27 RBIs. Okay.
COVID year.
We'll
give you
only
a pass.
60-game sample.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, whatever.
Fine.
We get to 2021. Finally signs for this big chunk of change. People had saw some oh, is this guy, legit or whatever? Goes to New York. 221. Only 11 homers and 38 RBIs.
Yeah.
That's sickening.
He lost his bat,
Like,
obviously.
It's sickening. Like they signed this guy for like 13, 10, 12, something like that. It was double-digit years at the max you could get. And now New York's stuck with him. And you better hope he fucking finds his mojo, or you guys are screwed. Like, so
royally screwed.
He's the next. He could be the. Hey, who
contract.
knows? He could be the next Bobby Bonilla.
Ah, Jesus. Which they would need another one of those. But yeah, I totally agree with you there. I think he's a lot more overrated than.
Goddamn, don't run.
I think he's a lot more overrated than Javi Baez. I think he's held to a higher standard. I know he was the guy in the Cubs, and he's just not finding his bat with the Mets right now, which seems to be a common thing with a lot of players that go there. So he kind of just needs to step it up, honestly. And I think he can, but I think if Lindor can get back to the way he played on the Indians, which God knows how he's going to do that, he can definitely help this Mets team. But yeah, I think he's absolutely overrated. That'll do it for the new segment. I think this is going to be something we do every single week, try and find one guy to talk about, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more debate, because these ones were a little unanimous, if you ask me. So that'll do it for that. Let me move on to jerseys of the week. Do you have one, or is it?
No, I had nothing this week that interested me. Actually, you know what? I'll sprinkle this in because the day that the Patriots announced that Mac Jones was the starting quarterback, I did in fact buy a Mac Jones jersey because my Patriots jersey was outdated because Sony Michel got traded. But I know you have a good one, and I love your pick because these are absolutely gorgeous.
And these are nothing new. These are jerseys that have been around for a little bit now, but I think they just deserve to get a little bit more respect. And it's the Calgary Flames. Their updated jerseys, they've absolutely killed it. I don't really know who's directing their apparel and stuff like that, and who's making these decisions, but I think that the trio of jerseys they have with the retro, they have the yellow, white, yellow on the sleeves, and then the white C on the red jersey and the red C on the white jersey, with kind of like the downward crest on the top. I think it looks beautiful. And then that with the fire horse, I think Blasty. Yeah, they call him Blasty.
Blasty.
That trio of the jerseys, the black, white, and red, I think I would put them in the top 3 jerseys in the league, honestly.
Well, they actually came out and said that for this year coming up, they're only gonna wear those red and white jerseys.
Yeah, as they should. I mean, the old ones are a little bit outdated. Definitely have a touch of the early 2010s that they kind of want to get away with, but they want to get away from. But just the trio of jerseys with a complement of their alternates with the black C's is pretty nice. I would definitely say they're more of the underrated ones, but definitely my jerseys of the week. I know they're nothing new. They weren't released anytime in the recent history, but I think they just needed a little bit more respect in terms of around the league. So that'll do it for jerseys of the week, and I'll pass it to you for this week in sports.
All right. So on this week in sports was kind of lackluster anyway. I had them all screenshotted. I just looked at them. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start on the 31st because it was pretty lackluster. All right. So we're gonna get it going here. August 31st. 2016, the Red Sox call up Yoan Moncada. On 2017, the Dodgers call up Alex Verdugo. Also in 2017, the Angels had acquired outfielder Justin Upton. And the Astros acquired starting pitcher Justin Verlander. In 2018, the Indians acquired the bringer of rain, Josh Donaldson. And in 2018, the Dodgers acquire Cardinals World Series hero David Freese. And today, September 1st, in 2013, the Cincinnati Reds call up top prospect Billy Hamilton. In 2013, the Detroit Tigers call up top prospect Nicholas Castellanos, as there's a drive. In 2014, the Dodgers call up outfielder Jock Peterson. In 2014, at the time, Oakland Raiders named Derek Carr their starting quarterback. And in 2018, the Bears acquire Khalil Mack from the Oakland Raiders. And that's all I got for this week in sports. Once again,
breaking news.
Breaking news. I saw it.
Breaking news.
I forgot about it.
Defenseman Colton Parayko has signed an 8-year, $6.5 million contract with the St. Louis Blues. The 28-year-old top-pair defenseman gets an 8-year lockup.
That's a chunk of change.
Yeah, big time. Well, you think so?
They're going to be but think about the contract they just gave Torrey Krug too.
Yeah. So I mean, they lock up that top pair at, what is it? Probably they both get 8.5.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a combined $17 million on your top pair for quite a long time. I know he's only 28 years old, but he can still play at an elite level. He's 6'6", 230, shutdown defensive defenseman, Stanley Cup champion.
Shutdown defensive defenseman with offensive upside too. Like he can skate and he can move the puck too.
I mean, this is a guy that you got to lock up, and now he's getting 6.5, which I think this is more of a thing where he could have gotten 8.5 somewhere, but he was like, I want term over money. I want consistent cash flow coming in until I'm 36 years old, which I think is more of the recent trend. A lot of guys are taking, used to take a lot more money over term, but I think the way it's going in the league now, people are looking for more term than money. So
they want the financial security.
Exactly. So
because they can always be bought out too.
Exactly.
Think about it.
See, you're almost getting $7 million for 8 years straight. This is a great deal for both sides. I think Colton Parayko has had an off year or two here or there, but I think he can still play at a top level, and I like this contract a lot. So yeah, that was breaking news. Just dropped 4 minutes ago. Yeah. So with that said, we'll move on to birthdays of the week. I'll let you take this one away.
All right, beautiful. How you doing? On August 29th, Noah Syndergaard, am I Canadian? He turned 29. Former Houston Astros legend pitcher Roy Oswalt, and also in my current rotation in MLB The Show 21, turned 44, which is his jersey number. New Orleans Pelicans legend David West turned 41. Los Angeles Dodgers utility man, I guess you call him utility man, Chris Taylor turns 31. St. Louis Cardinals closer Alex Reyes turns 27. Nashville Predators legend Marty Erat turned 40, and San Jose Sharks / Chicago Blackhawk legend Anthony Niemi turned 38.
There you go.
On the 30th, Celtics legend Robert Parrish turned 68. Adam Wainwright turned 40. Cliff Lee turned 43. Seahawks legend Sean Alexander turned 44. Former longtime staple of the 49ers offensive line Joe Staley turned 37. Dwayne Brown turned 36, and former Red Sox knuckleballer Stephen Wright turned 37. On the 31st, Larry Fitzgerald, future Hall of Famer, turned 38. Tom Coughlin, former head coach of the New York Giants, turned 75. Winnipeg Jets captain Blake Wheeler turned 35. Scott Niedermayer turned 48. Ryan Kessler turned 37, and Andrei Pavlik turned 34. And today's birthdays, happy birthday to Nathan McKinnon. He's turning 26 with his fucking...
That's ridiculous.
With his pasta and shit like that, his healthy diet.
Yeah.
He's 26,
pasta.
dude.
Chickpea pasta.
Your favorite name, one of your favorite names in professional sports, Calais Campbell.
Beast.
Former Jacksonville Jaguar, now current Baltimore Raven, turns 35. Zach Thomas, Miami Dolphins legendary linebacker, turns 48. Former Ranger, now Minnesota Wild, Matt Zuccarello, turns 34. Former Detroit Red Wing and now current Columbus Blue Jacket, Gustav Nyquist, turns 32. Hawks young stud Cam Reddish turns 22. And current Boston Bruin, Tomas Nosek, turns 29. And those are your birthdays of the week.
There you go. So then we move on to rivalries. I like this one. I think this is one of my favorite rivalries I've had in the 16 episode tenure. But mine is the Brooksy versus the Short Game. For those who missed it, the BMW Championship came to wraps a couple days ago on the 29th. And Patrick Cantlay took it after 6 absolutely thrilling rounds of playoff, which was awesome. I think they just kept rotating the 18th and 17th hole at Caves Valley, which was it was some of the most entertaining golf I've seen in a very long time between two players in the playoff round. Cantlay and DeChambeau just went back and forth, but I think my rivalry is Brooksy versus the Short Game because DeChambeau had so many chances to win this. So many good drives off the tee where he just absolutely stuck it perfectly on the green and had a chance for birdie, and he couldn't putt to save his goddamn life. I mean, he missed 5 straight putts the last 2 holes of regulation and the first 3 holes of the playoff. He had 3 straight chances to win, and he missed 3 straight putts.
What's he going to do, blame his putter like he blamed his driver?
He was yelling at his caddy like I've never seen before, which I know we've talked about for a while. Jesus Christ. The Mets GM just got a DUI.
No.
This is the Mets episode.
Low Mets.
This is ridiculous. Which,
dude,
Jesus H. Should I keep going?
What happened?
Bryson?
No, and then early in the year they had the guy that had like the sexual assault charges in the organization.
Yeah.
One of the front office guys was sending dick pics.
These guys can't catch a break.
Dude, Oh my God, the way you said
Thank
that,
God.
you're like, oh my God, the Mets GM just got a DUI.
I just like it's just like
He got a fat fucking Dewey after I just ripped Lindor and Javi Baez and their whole team.
yeah. I mean,
Oh
happened.
my
He
God.
got arrested last night, Tuesday in White Plains, New York, on DUI.
Mets general
DUI charges.
manager versus
Zach Scott
drunk driving.
versus the bottle. We've had that for Tony La Russa before, but yeah, I'll continue with this.
He is that baseball guy.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
Fucking hell, man. This is crazy. But yeah, I'll just keep going on this. DeChambeau, he missed 5 straight putts, last 2 holes on regulation where he had a chance to close out. He didn't do it there. Then he missed 3 straight and continued to yell at his caddy for not reading the green correctly, which, buddy, you're missing like 12 footers to win a tour championship. Get it together, pull it together. But it's one of those things where this guy loses and it puts a smile on every single every golf fan's face. So never a dull moment when Brooksy's in the shitter, and he really just fucked this one up because he's got excellent talent. I was gonna put him as my overrated, underrated guy, but just the way he's the best right now. He's the best golfer. Are you gonna throw up?
No.
Okay, I don't know. You just look like you're gonna throw up, but
I mean, if you want me to, I can stick 2 fingers down.
relax. But yeah, I could say he's overrated and everything, but he's easily the best golfer in the tour right now, and coming up is the what do you say, the PGA Championship?
The Tour Championship.
It's coming up the 4th to the 7th, which will be very entertaining. But yeah, Brooks, he just couldn't close this one out at Caves Valley, which maybe he's just got to work on the short game. But this is one of the most thrilling rivalries we've seen in pod history is him versus the short game.
I mean, actually, on other news in the PGA, they announced that they're cracking down on taunting and heckling, and I think they actually banned the term Brooksy.
They did.
They like, that's fucking pathetic.
Which I'm a Brooks guy. I'm a Koepka guy.
I am also a Brooks Koepka guy now.
But the joke is just it's got old. It's gotten old by now, and just when you hear it, when Bryson's trying to tee off, it used to be funny, but now it's just like, okay, guys, just let the guy fucking play golf.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a jackass anyway.
He's a he's a jackass. He's a prick and all that. He's not very nice to his caddies. He doesn't really blame a lot on himself. But just heckling doesn't have a place in golf in general, and it's just the joke's kind of gotten old. Even if you're a fan of Bryson or not, I think it's just time to get rid of the whole Brooksy thing. So that's the way I see it, and I'll let you move on to your rivalry because I think this is the craziest week of sports news we've had ever in this podcast history.
I'm so glad that we saved this. I have, for my rivalry, I have Bishop Sycamore versus ESPN. How the hell did ESPN allow?
Worldwide leader in sports.
How did they let them happen? How did it happen?
Worldwide leader in sports.
How do you let?
Worldwide.
It's not even a high school.
No, it was.
They're not a high school.
It was a group versus of old JUCO players and a coach who had an arrest warrant against him.
Versus the
IMG
versus the second best high school football team in America.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Bunch of fucking Oh my God, the one clip of number 54 was down on the field, right? He was like, yeah, so that's actually number 54 down on the field. He's actually not on our roster that they gave us. He was like,
Jesus Christ.
Bishop Sycamore actually said that they have a number of Division I prospects, and then all of a sudden they got the brakes beat off them, freaking 58-0.
Yeah.
How do you allow that to happen?
I think I don't know. I don't think we have to work in the logistics. We can just sit back and enjoy that it even happened in the first place. Because in a week where you had thumbs down to fans, you had qualifying offers to RFAs and NHL franchises being petty, and then you just have this, man. Like, we have not had a week like this in a long time.
Icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, if you talk about going out with a bang in the in-person podcast and being in the studio, we sure had a good docket. Yeah, but I mean, it's the most bizarre sports headline of the year.
Awesome.
Easily, Bishop Sycamore. And you said they lost what, 57-0?
58-0.
58-0. That's comedy. So with that said, we'll move on from our rivalries and
rivalries.
I do it every week. I do this every fucking week.
We're gonna have to title it now. Rivalries.
The rivalries. So we'll move on to games of the week, another new segment. I know we're very keen to adding new segments. It's just when things come off the top of our head, we like the idea of them, and we had the games of the week. And just with everything coming, when we have college football, and then the other 3 sports all happening at once, there's going to be plenty of games to talk about, and we're going to go through. We're going to pick a couple of our favorites. So my pick of the week is Georgia at Clemson. For Clemson, it's the hardest opponent they'll face all year. It's Georgia's the only preseason AP top 25 ranked squad that Clemson's going to face all year, which is it's mainly directed to the fact that they're still in the ACC, which I know I wish they would pull a Notre Dame and just kind of go independent, because they have to play teams like Wake Forest and Florida State, who aren't who they used to be. They have to play BC and all these teams. So you would love to see them play a couple more of the SEC teams. But I mean, the fact that we get the number 4 and the number 5 team in Clemson and Georgia playing first week at 8:00 on Saturday night is going to be absolutely unreal.
Bloodbath.
There's nothing like it. Clemson is -3, and their money line is minus 161. The over/under is 51.5, and Clemson's looking for their 29th straight home win. But the fun thing is that none of the college football teams are really playing in their home stadium, at least the ones that are playing in prime time. So this game will be held at Bank of America Stadium in Raleigh, where the Panthers play. So that's gonna be great little prime time game in an NFL stadium. And it'll star Heisman hopeful sophomore quarterback DJ Uiagalelei gets his first official start against the QB1 JT Daniels and Kirby Smart of Georgia. So this is definitely what I'm looking forward to. I think JT Daniels and Kirby Smart, they had a good year last year, albeit, but not really where they wanted to be in the top 4 when it comes to getting into BCS and getting in the ranks of the greats, of the great teams and stuff like that. So my prediction is at half it's going to be 23-13 Clemson. I think the first half is going to be rough. I think it's going to be teams just reading each other's defense and stuff like that. But I think Clemson will be up by 10. I think they'll get probably 2 touchdowns or whatever, and then three field goals. So and then Georgia will get a touchdown, 2 field goals. So it'll be real close. But I think the second half is going to be all Georgia. But still, I do think Clemson's going to win at 43-36 Clemson in overtime. I think it's going to be a thriller. I think it's going to be it's the first primetime game of the season, and it's not going to disappoint. There's just no way. So I think it's going to be a great way to start off the college football season, and it'll be a sign for all the good things to come. So yeah, that's my game of the week.
Alrighty. Well, my game of the week, I got this coming Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. We got the Giants and the Dodgers going at it. They don't have the starting pitchers out just because I think we're 5 days away. But I went back, I did the math. I think it's going to be Logan Webb, young stud for the Giants this year. Really, underrated pitcher in the league versus, the Dodgers ace, Walker Buehler.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers are a half game back of the Giants as of today. They're 85-49. The Giants are 85-48.
Yeah.
My prediction, I got the Giants taking this 3-2.
Wow.
I think it's going to be a bloodbath.
Battle.
I think, the Giants get a late lead as they get to the bullpens. I think Logan Webb and Walker Buehler are going to make some mistakes, but they're going to get out of jams, and they're going to limit the damage. But yeah, these offenses are way too good to not put runs up on the board anyway. So I got Logan Webb, maybe giving up a few runs. I got Buehler, the Giants getting a Buehler a little bit, but
yeah,
I definitely see the Giants getting into the Dodgers bullpen and working them around a little bit and sneaking out with a win in the 9th inning.
Yeah, so that'll do it for our new segment, and that'll do it for the episode. Last episode in the studio for a little bit. Obviously, our following episodes will be on Zoom and stuff like that, but we're going to make it work. Going to keep that the quality of the episodes that we've had. We're going to keep them going and stuff like that. But, thank you for joining. If you've listened to most of these, we appreciate you more than you know. I know it's been a tough little start. We're just trying to gain popularity and credibility and stuff like that. We're kind of new to this, so we'll see how it translates over to Zoom, and we'll keep the
6, baby.
Yeah, episode 16. That's a wrap on that. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great night. Taylor Hall is a Boston Bruin.
Taylor Hall is Boston Bruin.